These thoughts up in my head, things I never did. I took some L's, but I'm still here. I got these thoughts up in my head. I toss and turn about some things I never said. I got regrets about some things I never did. I took some risks and took some L's, but I'm still here. And I know.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Overthinking Thoughts Pod. I'm your host, Ed, and as always, journey with me as we pursue greatness in a world full of chaos. This is a very special episode. I mean, granted, it's another title, but this episode is special because last year at this time was when I released my very first episode of this podcast. So it has been a full year of the Overthinking Thoughts Pod. Round of applause. Right? Thank you. Um, what a difference a year makes, man. It's crazy to think because this kind of snuck up. I didn't even think that. Actually, I had a whole different plan for what I wanted to go with my podcast and just the episode I want to talk about. And I started thinking, and I was looking at the date, and I was like, man, this is. I feel like when did I start? So I looked back and realized I started July 21st of 2022. You getting this episode a little earlier by a day. Um, but the fact that this is happening is so cool. So I just I'm excited. It's one of those things where it was one of the goals on the checklist of like, let's see if you can even get to a year. And now there's other goals that I want to go after, obviously, but I'm really excited about it. So yeah, I want to share that with you. I appreciate all of you who have watched the podcast, reached out and told me that you got something from it. Um, liked, subscribed, commented on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Like I really appreciate it. And to all of those that are new, welcome. I really hope that we work together to pursue greatness in a world full of chaos. I hope that you gain something from what the podcast has. And there's always room for growth, but we have to continue to keep pushing. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. So I'm just very grateful for that and thankful to everybody that has ever watched, whether it was 1 minute, 30 minutes, 30 seconds, doesn't matter. I'm just glad that you got something from it. So thank you so much. Speaking of which, when you are thinking about where you want to consume the Overthinking Thoughts Pod, definitely on YouTube. That's where all the visuals are for my non-visual folks who like to listen to it in the car, on the road, or jogging, or what may have you. You can do that on Spotify, Apple Podcast as well, Google Podcast, and then if you want to follow on the socials and get some of the quick hitters, the quick clips, you can always do that. I am over on Instagram at Overthinking Thoughts Pod, and I'm also on TikTok at Overthinking Thoughts Pod. Shout out to all the new followers at TikTok and Instagram. Definitely grateful for you all. And yeah, so we're gonna just keep trying to do my best to grow the brand and keep giving quality content. So that's what I want to do. So what I wanted to do with this episode, now that like we're here, I guess I just wanted to look at a year review and things that I've learned and things that I've kind of like built from this. But when I when I first started, it was the little headset. If you go back to my very first episode, it was called "What Are You Waiting For?" And I had my little headset with the headphones and a little microphone because I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a podcast mic. I had an iPhone I was using. It was editing things off of that, and it was rocky, and I was very nervous because I think it's you become vulnerable when you try something new and you put yourself out there in a space that people haven't seen you in before. And so that was new to me, and I wondered like, what are people gonna think, or what are they gonna do, and are they gonna say things? Are they gonna like it? They gonna hate it? Like there was so much, and I just told myself, stay consistent, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Like you will find the audience and your words will hit the people that it needs to hit. And as time went on, I've reached out to other podcasts have talked to me, like just as far as like, advice or motivation or, just things that they do, and very grateful for some of the people I've met along the way. And I want to continue to grow, and I don't know, sky's the limit on where this can go or what it can do. Like like just I guess the first thing that I would put out there, like if I was to say what I learned was just go for it, right? Like you just don't know what's gonna end up. You have this idea, you have these thoughts, you have these visions, but your own mind will start to show you all of the sides of how it can go wrong, but you also have to hold on to the thought that it can go right if you do it the right way. If you pour love into it, if you put your effort into it, if it's really something you're passionate about, and it's not, I'm not just talking about podcasts. I'm talking about like whether that's on the basketball court, in the classroom, your job, entrepreneurship, things that you're wanting to build and grow, like putting your heart into that is really going to get you to where you want to be. And for me, I just told myself I'm going to keep going. And I mean, slow growth is still growth, right? Like I have a couple people that comment, and then I had a couple people that ask questions, or people that would respond, and then the followers started to grow a little bit, and then people started sharing some of the videos, and then next thing you know, like I got a couple videos that did really really well. I got some that are okay, but in the same breath, like whether it's 1,000 people or one person, if somebody got something out of it, that's the most important thing. And that's what I really wanted to focus on, was the work that I put out. I want to make sure I give you quality content, and that I'm speaking from the heart, and it's not just this fabricated thing that I'm just trying to do for likes and views. I'd rather go viral for being myself than to go viral for something I'm not. Um, and if that happens, that's great. If it doesn't, I'm still gonna thank God in the process and keep doing what He's called me to do, because I know in the end it'll pay off in the right way. And I have true faith in that about my podcast and just things that I want to pursue. And so when I think about it, like I had a good mentor reach out to me and give me a lot of feedback just on, hey, this is what I think. And like his words were so encouraging, because there was constructive criticism, but then there was also the piece of, you've got something really good here now and you got to keep going for it. And so that helped. My homeboy, my best friend, my brother, IV the Great, like he hooked up the shirts, he made me a logo. Like I didn't ask for that stuff, but he saw what I was doing and he respected the vision and he wanted to be a part of it. And the simple fact that he did that, like really, that was amazing, And then just some of the comments that people have, and then some of the things that I experienced, and then being able to put that out to you guys, like that was like, I always worried about, what about content? What happens if I run out? But man, life is life. There's so much that goes on. Some things you got to reiterate, some things are new, but the one thing that stays the same is the truth about who we are and what we do. And I'm always going to try to encourage you. I'm always going to try to push you, because you do have something that's valuable. You do have a gift. You do have a vision. But you also have to get out of your own way and allow yourself to grow. And hopefully through my experience, from the podcast and putting it out there, and from the name to just the content and to putting out clips, I hope that my experience helps you to also go after what you're passionate about. So I hope that, there's been good growth in that. But overall, I mean, just getting started was the key. Like I sat on this for at least 2 years and had ideas, and then I bounced back and forth, and then I really just put everything on the shelf, because it was more so a thing of me being like, it'll never happen, and nobody will worry about it. I gotta buy all this stuff. I gotta get this. I gotta get that. No, man, you just start where you are, and then you build off of that. I created a foundation, and now I'm building off of that foundation. So that way, if whatever I pursue isn't necessarily what I'm supposed to be doing, I can always fall back on my truth and fall back on what got me here. And that was just finding ways to help those who are overwhelmed, highly anxious, and overthink everything, and try to instill some confidence. So that was kind of like the main thing. And as episodes kept going and things started happening, and life experiences started coming, like I would get more ideas, and other people would start to listen, and that's where it got really cool for me. So That's awesome. I think that was like the biggest thing. Like, man, just get started and keep going. Um, I think another thing too that I learned was to not be discouraged in what you do, but stay encouraged with your passion. It's very easy to talk yourself out of things. Like there's episodes that I'm like, I don't know if I should do that. Nah, I don't want to talk about that because like it would hit near and dear, like self sabotage or just recently, the passing of my boy E Man, like having to talk about that, like those are hard things to talk about. But what I didn't want to do was stop the progress of what I had already created. So I wanted to make sure I tried to give something. And there were times where like I know I had to step back if my anxiety would be kind of rough or my body needed rest. Like I there was a point in time where I was like, I just got to do it. I got to do it. I got to keep going. I can't worry about anything else, no matter how I feel. I got to do it. But then I also feel like if I don't tell you that I have those moments of struggle, and then I say, hey, I need to rest. Like if I don't give you that, then it's not real. So being able to stay encouraged even in those times where I wasn't recording or I had to take or like things just didn't work out or I had to step back for a little bit, but knowing that I was still making progress, if that makes sense, like that, that allowed me to keep pushing. And overall, I just learned that it's easy to doubt. It's always easy to talk yourself out of something, but you never really know how strong you are until you go through it. You never know the courage you have until you're in the position of where you have to display it. And displaying it's not a cocky thing. It's not a I'm better. I'm beating my chest and acting like I'm better than everybody. No, like it's me taking steps to see just how far I can go, and then looking back to say, you can do this too. You come with me, and if I can get you even further, that's what I want to do. Like that, I feel like that's where. I mean, that's kind of where my passion has always been. Is always helping others, and I guess through this podcast, that's what I want to do. So the encouragement, hearing it from other people is always great. Hearing it from your child who watches it and says, "I really appreciated your episode," that felt good. Having close friends call like, "Yo, I'm listening to what you're talking about, and this is love. Like, keep doing what you're doing," like that. Those are the moments of encouragement that keep you going. But also, for me, and this is something I tell students I work with, is future you, like how you dream big, like first and foremost. The bigger the dream, the more opportunities you're going to present to yourself. So don't limit yourself to your dreams. Obviously, like put yourself out there and think big. Think of the extreme. Don't limit yourself. Don't put any holds or go, "Oh, I don't know if that's what I could do." No, like really think about where you could be. Like I think about it all the time. So future me is like on other podcasts and shows and doing live events and things, and it's all about putting in the work, right? So if future me is there, I can see it. Like I'm sitting here now, but a year ago I was sitting with a headset on. Now I'm sitting here, more people, more content, better equipment. Like those are things that help me progress. So as I see future me's looking back at me and saying, "Yeah, bro, we got this. We just got to keep moving. There's gonna be some things you're gonna go through. There's gonna be some stuff that you're gonna have to grow with, but I, this is what I want. Like we're gonna get through it, and that feels good to be able to dream like that. Like, but yeah, that just made me think. Like, so many of us put these. How can I put it? We have these realistic dreams, but then we give ourselves unrealistic fears. And the unrealistic fears are the doubts that we put in our mind, the anxious thoughts that we have, the overthinking and how we overwhelm ourselves. When a lot of times the majority of things that we think about doesn't even happen. Stuff comes up, real life happens. we're in the real world, but it's all about adjusting and adapting, but also staying true to what it is that you do. You can't cancel yourself out in your own dream because then you make yourself powerless. If you believe in yourself in the dream, then you can take that belief and put it into your real life and say, let's get started and see just how far we go with this thing. But you got to stay encouraged too. And I think for me, the encouragement comes from putting this out there and knowing like this is something that I've struggled with. Overthinking, anxiety, like those are two big struggles of mine that I realized weren't issues until I got older. I didn't think about it when I was younger. I just felt like that was the way I had to survive was to overthink everything, analyze everything, worry about it enough to where I feel like I got all the bases covered. But the reality is I never did. In the moment I always felt like I had control, but when you overthink, there's no control. You've actually lost control when you overthink because your mind is spiraling in so many ways. We just have a really trippy way of trying to make it seem like it makes sense, and it doesn't. Also, just know I'm still working on that. So don't think I got a cure or I got this like quick fix. It's not. It's a daily process of waking up and saying, this is what I'm going to, this is the best effort I'm going to give. When these things happen, I'm going to try to capture the moment. I'm going to try to capture my emotions, figure out what it is that's triggering this, change the way I feel, and hopefully take steps in the right direction. And I have some really great days and I have some really beat up days, but I'm just grateful for the fact that I have days because it allows me to grow and it allows me to learn more about myself. And so like that in itself is enough. And just the fact that like I know this is something, I don't want it to like destroy my life. So I tried to find a way to basically build it into encouragement. And so that's how overthinking thoughts came up. I had so many names for this podcast too. I had one that was really cool. I don't know if I want to tell y'all though because what if I use it again? I don't know. I'm gonna hold on to that. But I had a couple that I thought about. Um, but then like I finally just came up and was like, I think this is what I want. And I was talking to my brother about it, and it was like when I said it, I was like, oh yeah, overthinking thoughts. It's like I overthink the thoughts that are just normal. I'm overthinking when I'm overthinking. He was like, that sounds confusing. I said exactly. But then I also want it to be like, well, what are you overthinking about? Well, yeah, I want to tell you that my mind is crazy, but I also want to give you encouragement on how to calm yourself down at the same time. And hopefully I've been able to do that or at least give you some type of motivation or encouragement to push yourself, right? So, hopefully that's worked out. Um but yeah, like it's crazy to think that it's been a full year, but I'm also really excited about where else this can take me. I have no clue. I just know that I'm not going to stop. I know that I'm not going to put up any put up any fronts or halt myself. I did that too much when I was younger. I did that a lot because I just felt like, well, I'll halt myself so other people can grow. With the hope that people would turn back around and go, "Oh, he moved out the way. Let's bring him with us." That didn't. It doesn't happen. It's not realistic. Um, but I feel like this is one of those moments in life where I feel really confident in what I'm doing. Like as far as this is concerned, like I mean, I know there's so much more room for improvement. Um, but what a ride it's been, man. Like from putting out clips on TikTok and Instagram and trying to figure out how I want to do that and having people actually share what I'm saying like that. I remember like one of the first times that happened. Um, it was a dude that I used to mentor that's playing. He played college ball. Matter of fact, he just graduated. Man, congratulations, Charles, on graduating. I mean, I know it was a few months ago, but just the fact that that's black excellence that we want to celebrate. He's a solid dude. And a really good basketball player too. But I remember like he was one of the first people that shared one of my clips, and I was like, "Oh man, that's cool." And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm really paying attention to it." And then like having a full fledged conversation with him about some of the stuff that I was talking about and how that could help him, like that was so like that really made me feel really good about like what I was doing. Um, and it let me know like, okay, it's reaching people. And I don't know who else is out there that's hearing this that hasn't said anything about it, but if it's giving you what you need, man, that's all that matters, man. Let me see. What else is out there that I learned? The other thing I had to learn is like as much as we want to rush, you have to be very patient in what you do too. Um, okay, so not getting too deep, but kind of going a little bit. One of the one of the things that really triggered my anxious thoughts and just overthinking things was like being at this point in life and having a wife and having kids and wanting to create these ideas is fascinating. But then when you start experiencing life at this point or at this age, you start seeing things in the world that can be very discouraging. And so I always worried about making sure I was doing everything I could for my kids, for my wife, worrying about life in general. Like just for me, being present, like that's the biggest thing. And actually, I had this conversation with my son the other day. Where were we coming from? Might have been basketball or practice or one of them. And so we're in the car and we were talking about the podcast and we got to talking about like just life and jobs and finding things that work. And he was saying I put it to you like this, kids will tell you exactly what you need to hear. They don't always know what they're saying is impactful, but oh, they hit you. So he was talking to me and he was like, "Yeah, man." He said, I'm really happy like you're coaching and you're around because like there was a time where it was hard to watch you come home and be emotionally unavailable. Where like you're coming home and like I get to see you, but at the same time you're not like truly here and you're not fully focused on us, even though I know you love us, but you had all these other things going on that you were trying to figure out. And I like part of me is sitting there like, oh gosh, like you know what I'm saying? But then the other part was the fact that he's like, yeah, like, but I'm so glad that you took the time to figure out how to like better yourself. He's like, and I'm just glad that, I could see you now. Like you come home at a better time. We get to do these things. You get to coach, you get to, watch me play basketball. You're at more games and stuff like that. And like just knowing that I was able to make that sacrifice and figure out what was gonna be best for him and for my future, like that meant a lot. And the simple fact that you feel bad because you're trying to rush and do all these things and show your kids what's out there and things, but they're watching and you can be patient. Like there's stuff that you can move forward with, but patience is such an important trait to have. Because the one thing I will say about me is like, although I overthink a lot, there are certain situations I could be in and be very, very patient. Like my coworker, I remember when my car was down, my coworker's like, he goes, "Man, if it was me, I'd be so upset. I'd be calling everybody, blah blah blah." And I was just like, "Man, listen, it is what it is. I can't control it. When the time is right, I'll get it back." Now, how could I be calm in that situation? But then, like in other everyday things, I'm sitting up here panicking like crazy. I don't know how it works. I just know that when I really tap into it, it works. But it also in due time, things happen in due time, you know. And so the fact that I have I know how to practice that is good. I just know I need to do it a little more often. But I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling, but at the same time, I'm just really excited. It's been a full year. Like I just don't even know. I don't even know what to think. Like I never thought I'd be in this position because I almost just folded on this thing. But glad that I let it come to life, and I'm thankful that not so much that I let it come to life, but that God gave me the opportunity to put it out there. And all we can do is continue to move forward and grow, and that's what I plan on doing. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think like what else is out there. It's kind of a different episode than what I have. Next week, I do have a topic that's gonna be like a little deeper, but this one is more so just like, yeah, like what do you think? Like it's a lighter episode, I should say. But uh I guess I guess like my biggest thing to take from all of this is like you can find a thing that you think is your weakness and turn it into your strength. I saw my anxiety and overthinking as a weakness. I decided to put it out there because my thought was I feel like somebody else feels the same way that I do and is just trying to figure out how to navigate everyday life. So that's why like the whole pursuing greatness in a world full of chaos thing came up. I want us to be great in everything that we do, but I also understand that this world is a complete mess. Whether that is from the people to the materials to media, whatever, right? There's so much out there. However, we all got a gift. We all have a talent. We all have a skill. We all have something of value that we can put into this world to make it better. But a lot of us have stunted our own growth because we are afraid to see just how far we can go. I'm here to tell you that you have a voice, you have a vision, you have dreams, you have goals, you have things inside of you that are meant to grow. So stop stunning your growth and just get started. A year ago, I asked you, what were you waiting for? I'm here a year later to tell you if you're still waiting and you're still nervous and you're still wondering what if, stop overthinking it and get it done. It's July. Pretty soon, December will be here before we know it, and we'll be looking at a whole nother year. You do not want to look back and regret the fact that you could have started something and then not do it. You don't want to look back and realize that there were opportunities available and you pushed them away. Just get started. Things will come if you do it the right way. Do the best that you can with what you have and just put it out there, man. Um I'm very grateful that I did that because I'm still able to put out a podcast that I enjoy and come up with different topics and different things that can help people. That's my passion. What is your passion? What lies inside of you? What is it that you are so excited about? And why haven't you started it yet? Get out of your head. Don't hold yourself hostage. Do not be a prisoner of your own mind. You have the key to unlock yourself out of that prison. So don't stay there. Unlock your gifts, unlock your talents, put them out there because somebody in this world is going to need what you have and they're going to need the words that you have to say in order for them to start what it is that they want to do. You are a visionary, you're a leader, you have light inside of you. Stop stop being so dim. Shine bright. That's the whole point of this thing. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, if you gave your best and you gave your all and you put 100% effort into it, everything else is just going to fall into place. So I guess use this as if you've been watching this or if you caught on at any point in time of this podcast and there's something that you're waiting on or wanting to do, and I don't mean it in the sense of like you're waiting and there's other things that have to happen. I get that part, but like if it's just because you have decided to halt it, like you are standing in your way, look yourself in the mirror, tell yourself that this is something you can do, and do what my dad told me to do. Don't be afraid to be great. Man, it's out there for you. And I want to encourage you to do your best. And once again, thank you so, so much for all of you that have been rocking with me this full year. What happens next? I don't know. but I put it all in God's hands, and I'm very thankful that I even have the platform and the opportunity to do this. So from the bottom of my heart, if you've been rocking with me, whether you have been there from the beginning or you have joined in at any point in time and have shown some type of support or love, thank you so much. And the last thing I want to leave you with, as always, is that I believe in you. Now go believe in yourself. It's been a great year. Let's keep it moving. All right. It's the Overthinking Thoughts Pod. I'm Ed. We out.
These thoughts have been in my head. Things I never did. I took some L's, but I'm still here. I got these thoughts up in my head. I toss and turn about some things I never said. I got regrets about some things I never did. I took some risks and took some L's, but I'm still here. And I know.